World Crisis Radio. Note again these bombs in Peshawar, Pakistan, and elsewhere. We'd like to know what Blackwater and the CIA and, of course, MI6 know about them. The 5 Northern Virginia Pakistanis linked by Steve Emerson to Jaish-e-Mohammed. Now, Jaish, the interesting thing about Jaish, as I was pointing out on Russia Today last week, and you can see that clip at YouTube, the Riverdale Four, the 4 patsies accused of wanting to bomb a synagogue in Riverdale in the Bronx, New York City, and of wanting to shoot down a U.S. military aircraft taking off from the Air National Guard base there in Newburgh, New York. Those patsies were sheep-dipped into connections with Jaish-e-Mohammed. Jaish-e-Mohammed is the one accused also in the Daniel Pearl killing, which was suspicious, to say the least. And Jaish, of course, is the one implicated in the 2001 attack on the Indian Parliament in New Delhi, which almost started a war between India and Pakistan. These are provocateurs. These are very, very suspicious, smelly characters, right? You get KSM coming in there, I think, at various points. So this is very, very strange, and we want to know what was the relation of these 5 Northern Virginian Pakistanis to the CIA or to MI6? We would like to know that, because this is maybe the opposite of what it seems. And we see that various foundation-funded pro-Islamic advocacy groups are getting into the picture, but perhaps they will obscure this fundamental idea. These might have been 5 patsies, 5 double agents, or again, they might have been 5 honest-to-God fanatics who have been recruited through God knows what operation. Notice also, we have the case of Headley in Chicago. This is someone who's accused in the Mumbai bombing of about a year ago, right? Thanksgiving 2008, approximately. That weekend, we had the Mumbai bombing, and you can find on the Internet my discussion with Alex Jones about this and how suspicious this all is. Remember the implications of the British, the Israelis, the U.S., and the Indians, the RAW, the Research and Analysis Wing, the guys who give you the raw deal. Mumbai has many typical earmarks of a false flag operation done in the first place by the RAW. And now we have this guy in Chicago who has pleaded not guilty. India is demanding that he be extradited. So when they have the Mumbai show trial, there will be a U.S. Citizen, Pakistani, I believe is what he is, on trial in that group. So you can see from the time in May that these four Riverdale patsies were rounded up with the goal of bombing the synagogue. Now we have 5 Northern Virginia Pakistanis, one of them leaving behind some kind of a video about the need to defend the Muslim Ummah against the kuffar and the infidels and all the usual verbiage that we'd expect in this context. This is now what's going on. So you can see the build-up. Now, in the middle of all this doesn't stop Obama. Obama gets the Orwell Prize for doublethink. He is cavorting with King Harald V of Norway, Queen Sonja, a monarchy generally oriented towards the British one. Traditionally, these are Eurogarchs, Eurocrats, titled feudal aristocrats. And there he is, giving his speech. It's obviously an exercise in absurdity. Who can we compare this to? Well, you know, Theodore Roosevelt, Woodrow Wilson. But let's go all the way back. Who was the Roman emperor who liked most to get prizes for talents that he didn't have? Well, Nero is certainly one of them. Remember that Nero considered himself to be the greatest opera singer of the age, and he would have these music contests where he would always win the prize, or if he didn't, the judges and the winning contestant would be found floating in the Tiber. We're also approaching the point of divinity, right? The declaration that the emperor is in fact a god, right? This happened under Divus Julius, or shortly after Divus Julius. The god Julius Caesar, made a god. We're getting there. So this is simply another exercise in megalomania, right? It's Obama's Song of Norway, which is described by some as a symphony in the key of I, the insatiable megalomania and narcissism of Obama. Now, he will now go on to Copenhagen. And Copenhagen, of course, is in much disarray. Copenhagen has begun, and I would urge people, look back at the precedents in terms of very high-profile international conferences of this type. Two come to mind. The Congress of Vienna, 1815, triumph of reactionaries, Metternich, and then Versailles, 1919, Peace of Paris, and that turned then into the immediate preparation for World War II. What we're seeing in Copenhagen is a parade of the decadence and insanity and lunacy of the world elite in its entirety. And again, this is not just any elite. This is the elite that has been fomented and fostered under U.S. British world domination. At the top of this crazy edifice, we have the City of London, we have Wall Street, and then we have all the forces in the world, all the rotten, decadent, and degenerate forces that believe in this thesis of anthropogenic global warming, and they have come together. And they are not in the least embarrassed by ClimateGate. Interestingly enough, one of the purposes in the ClimateGate emails that has come to light is an attempt by these climatologists to suppress the idea of a medieval warm period between 1000, 1100, 1200, when, for example, Eric the Red and Leif Erikson, when they got to North America, to Newfoundland, usually interpreted, they found grapes, vineland. How could it be vineland? Because it was much warmer. That means that the entire temperature record would include temperatures which are far warmer than what we have today. And this is in historical time. Now, here's what they tried to do. These climatologists are charlatans, and I'm speaking now as a historian. I'm putting on my hat as a historian. I don't need climatologist charlatans to tell me what the temperature was in 1000, 1100, 1200 in the North Atlantic, because this is a matter of written records. We don't need your tree rings. We don't need your ice cores. We don't need any of your flim-flam, because the written records are authoritative and they are conclusive. And they show us that there was indeed a medieval warm period, followed then around 1600, 1650, by a little ice age. And there again, of course, we have abundant written records, right? We know the Venetian lagoon froze over in that time. We know that the ports of northern Europe were blocked by icebergs, where the great, the Rhine and the Elbe and so forth meet the North Sea and the English Channel and the rest of it. That was full of ice. So that's one side. But the other side, a little bit back, and the written records are not as abundant, but still they're there, and they're authoritative. They're conclusive. There was a medieval warm period. Now, we have an interesting initiative. 150 climate scientists who are not charlatans have attacked the junk science, the obscurantism of the proceedings there in Copenhagen. And we do have the role of Lord Monckton. Now, Lord Monckton, we just have to remember who this is. Everybody loves a lord, I guess, but not me, not here. Lord Monckton is a part of the original team around Thatcher Milk Snatcher. It was Lord Monckton who joined with Sir Alfred Sherman and Sir Keith Joseph to put Maggie, the old battle axe of British imperialism, the withered mummy, the milk snatcher, into power. That having been said, what Lord Monckton is doing now is quite useful. We don't need him as a permanent leader. Back in a minute.